Interstellar space travel. What is interstellar space travel and why do we need it? Interstellar space travel is the travel between different stars and solar systems. It is needed to explore the universe to find new life or a new habitable planet for us to live on. It is also needed to address fundamental questions about our place in the universe and the history of our solar system. What is the closest solar system to ours? Alpha Centauri is the closest. It is about 4.22 light years away. That is around 25.32 trillion miles. Project Longshot was an idea that was supposed to help us reach Alpha Centauri. Project Longshot was basically an unmanned probe that would orbit around Alpha Centauri using nuclear pulse propulsion. It was developed by the USA Naval Academy and would take about 100 years at an average velocity of approximately 13,411 km per second. 4.39 years is how long it would take for information to reach Earth. According to NASA/USRA University Advanced Design, it was cancelled due to laser pumped light sail having really low achievability. Laser pumped light sail was basically like 100% of the lasers was supposed to be focused onto the sail continuously for one whole year. Energy is usually stored in a battery or fuel cell, but this will probably run out of energy anytime. Instead, there's also use of solar power for energy. This is because it can last long and can convert sunlight into energy. Radioisotope thermoelectric generators or RTGs are also a good alternative. They make steel radioactive material into heat and energy as it decays. In space, astronauts will need different stuff that can help them survive extreme weather or different diseases. If someone gets sick, they have a medical officer that is there to help them. Suits are made of insulators so that astronauts do not get too hot or too cold. Also, the spaceships are equipped with thermal control system that can keep the astronauts comfortable at a good temperature. Microgravity is a big issue in space. It can cause bone loss and can weaken bones. NASA is exploring the use of bone strengthening drugs, but currently they are doing conditioning exercise routines. Here's a video. NASA is also working on superhero-style spacesuits that replicate gravity. The suit imitates the pull of gravity on the torso and thighs. NASA's Juno probe briefly clocked in at 165,000 miles per hour, which is 266,000 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest spacecraft to date. Using this, it would take around 139,393,939.394 years to reach the closest solar system. In space, oxygen is limited. To get to the closest solar system, it would take around 139,393,939.394 years. Oxygen would probably run out by that time, or the carbon dioxide would pile up and kill everyone. In space, to make more oxygen, they just split water. Most spacecraft rely on removing the carbon dioxide using canisters that contain powdered lithium hydroxide. Water and food are limited because there is limited space. To get more food or water, they would need a farm. In the farm, it requires soil and water. To make a farm, they can use human waste as soil. Water is also made with recycled urine, sweat, or showers. They also have lab animals in space too, which also sweat, urinate, etc. And they recycle that too to get more water. Communication in space would be really hard, but the sketched out system in which satellites would be put into polar orbit around the Sun and various other planets. These satellites would then be linked up into a network that could pick up radio messages from a manned spaceship or robotic probes and then relay them up or down the line from one planet or another until they reach Earth. So far, the plan has not been put to use. This could really help in interstellar space travel because this can help travel messages from the spaceship to Earth or the Earth to space. How would you get rid of wasted space? Anything that cannot be reused or recycled is waste. NASA scientists have designed the heat melt compactor, which recovers water from the trash using heat transfer and compacts the trash. Trash to gas technologies was also made. This is a good alternative as well. It converts the trash into methane gas and could be used as rocket propellant. NASA looks for designs that could compact trash and remove hazardous components, and process and remove pieces that could then be repurposed or recycled. Generation ships. Firstly, what is a generation ship? A generation ship is a spaceship that would travel to different stars or solar systems and could take centuries to reach. The original people that boarded the ship would live their lives and die out, and their kids would take over the ship. This process would continue until they eventually reached their destination. Most people would not volunteer to go. That is the problem with this. Most people would not volunteer because by the time people reach the habitable place, people from the future would probably already be colonized due to them having faster technology. This process would take 139,393,939 years, and this would make that really long journey useless. Also, most people would not want their life and their generations of kids of life to be wasted inside of a generation ship and for their struggles to be for nothing. Economical impacts. Some economical impacts are that it takes $10,000 to send a single pound of mass to space. Sending a whole spaceship would be very expensive. Also, making the ship would also be very expensive due to them needing lots of space technology, the right materials to make the ships, and having materials here after they land, such as food and water and other resources. Fuel will also cost a lot of money. Environmental impacts. Some environmental impacts are that when the ship first leaves Earth, a lot of greenhouse gases will be released. This will affect global warming because the gases will be released into the atmosphere, resulting in the Earth warming up. While traveling in space, feces, carbon dioxide, vehicle parts, etc. would be released into outer space. This can cause many unknown reactions. Also, space hardware falling back to the Earth when they first leave can also affect the atmosphere. Some social impacts are that if the Earth becomes too uninhabitable, people have another place to go to. Also, the Earth would also be less populated due to people traveling into another planet, which is more habitable. What items would you bring with you? So this will exclude clothing. So you'd want to bring hygiene supplies so you don't get diseases or sting. Health supplies to get rid of diseases or cold. Music, games, books, or TV shows so you do not get bored or lonely. Food and water so you don't starve. Plants to convert carbon dioxide to oxygen. And papers and pencil to write down information. What professions are needed? A biologist is needed because they can identify or find new animals. They can also study stuff such as how space affects humans. Someone in the medical field would also be useful. People such as doctors, they can help with stuff like injuries or sicknesses. Aerospace engineers are also good because if something happens to a spaceship, they're there to help and fix it. Computer engineer is good to have on board because if something happens to the technology, they can fix it too. Chemists are there to keep track of new chemicals and will work with the chemicals. Geologists can keep track of new rocks. Also, when they land, a geologist can identify the planet and see if it's habitable. Electricians can fix anything that uses electrics. To become an astronaut, you would need a bachelor's degree in engineering, biological science, physical science, computer science, or mathematics is needed. At least 3 years of related professional experience obtained after degree completion, or at least 1,000 hours in pilot and command time on jet aircraft is also needed. When they arrive to the new planet, firstly, they have to check if it is habitable. Secondly, they'd have to make shelters and weapons to keep themselves safe. They'd also have to find new animals and plants for food. They'd also have to populate the place so everyone doesn't die out, and try to communicate with people back on Earth so they can send the information or bring people here. Social factors. Group leaders would be there if there are any arguments, which the group leaders will civilly solve problems with votes, or they could just be a judge. For mental health issues, they can be like a mental health doctor. Like if someone gets bored or they need fun, there's music, books, games, you can make friends, you can play sports, or they can hold their own Olympic type of thing. And for laws, captains would be in charge of that. Due to our technology being limited and us not having the right methods to leave, I do not think interstellar space travel is currently available to us. Hopefully, in the near future, we will be able to go to a new solar system.